Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I am Abdul Mateen. Welcome to my channel. Today we discuss a topic of budgets. A detailed financial plan for the future. Remember that budgets are not forecast, although they may be based on the limited factors. For example, sales. Budgets are targets for department and the people in the organizations to reach there. Advantages why the company has to set budget. What are the advantages of setting the budget? Advan- Budgets are set for both sales revenue and cost. It is usually for the each cost and profit center to have budgets set for the next 12 months, and then they have broken down on a month by month basis. The company set the budgets for the complete year, and then after that they will divide into number of months. So how what are the advantages? Planning the budgeting process makes managers consider future plan carefully so that realistic budgets can be set. The first advantage of setting a budget is that can be helpful to the managers to make the plan. Second advantage is that effective allocation of resources. So according that you have current resources, and according that you know that okay, where you have to put your financial resources, HR and production resources. Budgets can be effective way of making sure that the business does not spend more resources than it has access to. There will be priorities to discuss and to agree on, since what can be done in is always likely to the greater than resources will permit. So you have limit. According that you can set your targets and you can want to achieve them. Do not allocate extra budgets under. Third advantage is that setting target to be achieved. Research show that most people work better if they have realizable target at which to aim. The motivation will be greater if the budget holder or the cost profit center managers has been given some delegated accountability for setting and reach targets. So in that way we have to give some benefit to the managers of different departments that you have to allocate and set your budget for your own, and you will reach there according to your set aims. Next advantage is coordination. Discussion over the allocation of resources is too difficult. Different departments and divisions require coordination between these departments. Once budgets have been set, people will have to work effectively together if targets set are to achieve. Next objective is monitoring and controlling. Planning plans cannot be ignored once in place. There is need to check regularly that the objective is still within the reach. All kind of conditions may change, and business cannot afford to resume that everything is fine. So it can be very helpful to find out either your business or your manager or your departments are working towards achieving the goal. Modifying. Is there evidence to suggest that the objective cannot be reached and that the objective is unrealistic? Then either the plan or the way of working toward it must be changed. So you can make the modification in your objective or in your budget if you see that set budget is not up to standard to meet the objective, so you need to modify that. Assessing performance. Once the period has been ended, variance analysis will be used to compare actual performance with the original budget performance. So setting budget can be helpful to assume that find out okay fine at the end of the time period in which you have to achieve your goals or objective. So that can be helpful. A variance analysis can be applied to check out that either the budget performances and the actual performances are same or not. Is there under or over? So stages in preparing budgets. Stage one, the most important organizational objectives for the upcoming year are established. These will be based on The previous performance of the company. Second, external changes likely to affect the organizations, and sale forecast based on research and past data, sales data. Stage 2. The key are limiting factors that is most likely to influence the growth of the company. You need to identify the factors that can affect the success of the business. For most companies, this is likely to be sales. So, sale is a basic factor that can affect on company's growth. Whatever the company do for selling the product, therefore the sales budget will have to establish first. Careful and accuracy are essential at this stage, because and minor an error is in the key factors budget will be destroy all other budgets as well. For example, if the sale budgets prove to be inaccurate, example set at level that prove to be too high, then cash, production, labor budgets and so on can be affected as well. If you forecast your sale undercast or less, then definitely your other all other departments generally set their budget according to that. But if you can forecast your sale too much high, it means that your finance department, your production department, your HR department set the budget according to achieve particular sale that you have to forecast. Stage 3. The sale budget is prepared after discussion with sales managers in all branches and division of the business. So how the company set the sale budget? They can have to make a coordination between all the departments, all the divisional and branches sales with sales managers that give me the forecasting of next years or next 5 years or next month sales, how much you expect that this will increase. Stage 4. The subsidiary budgets are prepared, which will now be based on plan coordinated continue in the sale budgets. These will include cash budget, administration budget, cost budget, material cost budget, selling and distribution budget. The budget holder, example, cost and profit center managers should be involved in this process if the aim of delegating responsibility for budget is to be achieved. Stage 5. These budgets are coordinated to ensure consistency. This may be undertaken by a budgetary committee with social responsibility for ensuring that budgets do not conflict with each other and that the spending level plan does not exceed the resources of the business. So you have, for setting the budget, every type, every department can make a coordination between different stuff, and they have to produce the good according that. So you have to develop your things according that. Stage 3. A master budget is prepared that contain the main detail of all budgets and conclude with the budget profit, loss amount, account and balance sheet. Stage 7. The master budget is then presented to the board, hopefully for the director approval. Once approved, the budget will has to be based on operational plan for each department and cost center within the organizations. So first we have to make the sale budget, and after that, and sale budget can be prepared with the coordination with all branches sales managers, and after that you have to make a subsidiary budgets at all departments, like example, production department, finance department and HR department. And then after that you have to make a complete master budget that you have that include every department, that represent every department figures and for approval. So setting budget, there are several ways in which the budget level can be set. The most widely used are incremental budgeting. Basically the concept of incremental budgeting is that you will increase the budget from the previous year, like example 10%, 5%, whatever your expected sale. According to that you have to make some incremental enhancement of the previous budget this year. Use last year budget as a base, and an adjustment is made for the covering year. This put increased pressure on many staff to achieve high productivity. Incremental budgeting does not allow for unforeseen events. Using last year figures as a base means that each department does not have to justify its whole budget for the coming year, only the change are incremental. So basically, their incremental budgeting put a too much pressure on every department managers that they have to increase the productivity, because last year if the sale is too much high because of unforeseen circumstances, then definitely next year you have to increase 5% or 10% more of their previous year budget. So that's why workers of managers too much worry about the how come we can achieve this target next year. The zero budgeting. It is a very simple type of budgeting that every year you set the budget from zero. No previous record involved there. Setting budget to zero each year, and budget holder have to argue their case to receive any finance. Okay, in this case, you have the managers of the department definitely argue with the top management that this year we need this amount of money, because there is no base. On the basis of that particular year budget we have to set the budget, so every managers can fight for their own concerns. This is an approach to setting budget require all departments and budget holder to justify their whole budgets each year. This is time consuming, and as a functional review of the work and the importance of each budget holder section is needed each year. However, it does not provide added incentive for managers to define the work of their own section. Also, changing situation in the environment can be reflected in every different budget level each year. Flexible budgeting. Third type and last type, cost budgets for each expense are allowed to vary if sales and productions vary from budget level. Example, in this flexible budgeting, we have to see this thing. What is a we set up a simple basic budget and we have to do according that. But in reality, the performance of each department or performance of sales department is going high. If they are too much high in sales because of changing circumstances, so then there is some flexibility in the budget that to increase the cost, increase the expenditure on advertisement and production department, increase the budget on the raw material. HR department definitely put more skills workforce in the company. Flexible budgets are more motivated for middle and low level managers, as they will not be criticized for adverse variance that might occur just because output was lower than budgeted. The flex budget targets that they are given are more realistic. Also, flexible budgets make it easier to produce valid and accurate variance analysis, as they will now highlight change in efficiency, not change in output. Limitation. What are the drawback of budgeting? Lack of flexibility. If budgets are set with no flexibility built into them, then sudden and unexpected change in external environment can make them very unrealistic. These external changes often come in form of unplanned for increase in world raw material prices and energy cost inflation. Focused on short term, budgets tend to be set for relatively short term period, like example for 1 or 12 months, 6 months, and so on. Managers may take a short term decision to stay within budget that may not be in the best long term interest for the business. Third disadvantage is that may lead to unnecessary spending. When the end of the budgetary period approach and managers realize that they have underspent their budget, it's mean that they have a lot of money behind after achieving their target. Unnecessary spending decisions might be made so that the same level of budgets can be justified next year. If large surplus exists at the end of just budgetary period, how would managers justify the same level of resources next year? So the concept here that okay, if you have enough money, the managers spend that money, the particular money into different heads, different expenditures. So next year they expect the same amount from the head office that we have to need that particular amount of money. But if they don't spend that particular extra money, So they will return back to the head office, and next year head office allocate less amount of money because they give the justification. In last year you can spend, the sale is up to target, and you have to save some money because of your skills. Now you have to pay less amount of budgets because use your skills and improve your efficiency. Training need must be meet. Setting and keeping the budget is not easy. All managers with delegated responsibility for budgets will need extensive training in this role. So the idea is that making the budget is not easy for everyone. So the company need to appoint the particular managers who are best in setting the budget, who are skilled, who are experienced in setting the budgets. Setting up budgets for few projects. When a major new project is being undertaken, setting realistic budgets may be difficult and frequent revision in the budgets might be necessary. If you have a particular budget and on the particular budget you are not experienced in making the work, so there is need to rechange your budget on a weekly basis or monthly basis. So that is basically a negative impact of the company and bad image. Budgetary control variance analysis. It is the most important topic. A variance is a difference between budget and actual figure. Now you have to need to compare what is your performance during the period covered by budgets, and at the end of it the actual performance of the organizations need to be compared with original targets, and reason for the difference must be investigated. If अगर आपका, if your project is too much high value of money, in case of that set the budget too much high, but in reality the actual performance actual figure is less, or vice versa, then it is very difficult to justify what's the reason behind that, why you set in beginning very high budget and the reality figure is less. And if in opposite case you set a low budget but in reality the figure is up, then it is very difficult to justify by the managers then what is the reason behind that. So how can we have to calculate that? We can use variance analysis. Why variance analysis is the part of budgeting. It measures the difference from the planned performance of each department both month by month and at the end of the year. It assists in analyzing the causes of variation from the budget. For example, if actual profit is below budget, was this due to low sales revenue or high cost? This is justification for that. And understanding of the reason of this variation from original planned level can be used to change future budget in order to make them more accurate. For example, if sales revenue is lower than planned as a result of market resistance to high prices, then this knowledge could be used to help prepare the future budgets. Now we discuss about the variance. There are two types of variance. Adverse variance exists when the difference between budgeting and actual figure lead to lower than expected profit. The cause is sales revenue is below budget either because units sold were less than planned for, or the selling price had to lower due to competition. Second reason is that actual revenue, raw material costs are higher than planned for either because output was higher than budgeted, or the cost per unit is increased due to different international inflation. Third reason is that labor costs are above budget, either because wage rate had to raised due to shortage of workers, or the labor time taken to complete the work was long than expected. Overhead costs are higher than budgeted, perhaps because actual annual rent rise was above forecast. Now we discuss about the favorable variance. So opposite of adverse variance exists when the difference between the budgeted and actual figure lead to higher than expected profit. Sales revenue is above budget due to higher than expected economic growth and problem with one of competitors' product. In which scenario favorable variance is there? When there is economic growth increase in GDP and the competitor's product is weak, then your product is good. Then you have to face enjoy the favorable variance. uh, Raw material costs are lower than because output was less than planned or the cost per unit is decreased. Labor costs are lower than planned for either because of low wages rate or quicker completion of work. Maybe your worker becomes skilled and they can charge less amount of money, so you enjoy the favor variance. Overhead costs are lower than budget, perhaps because advertisement rate from television campaign may be reduced. Now we discuss the budgets and budgetary control and evaluation. Setting, agreeing, and controlling budget is time consuming. Budget can fail to reflect the changing circumstances and become inflexible. Budget holder can look upon a budget as a limited up to which they can be spent, whether their department need all of the resources or not. Therefore, the budgetary process worthwhile. So the managers think about that, how they can improve it. Without a detailed and coordinated set of plan for allocating money and resources of the business, who would decide who get what. Without a clear sale budget as the cornerstone of the budgetary process, how would department know how much to produce or how much to spend on sale promotions or productions or how much employees you need to produce a good? What it be possible to assess whether the business had done and how well individual department and perform without clear series of targets with which to compare performance. Without figures to monitor progress during the budgetary period, how would it possible to know where the business is or to suggest changes that might be made? And last point is budgets have to agree and control. This gives responsibility and sense of direction for those delegated work with them. Thank you very much. Today we discuss about the budgets and budgetary control, different other elements. Stay with me. See you in next video. Take care. Allah Hafiz.